Hey, thanks for joining us. We've got a couple thunderstorm chances overnight tonight across central Indiana. I'm 13 News meteorologist Matt Standridge. Thanks for joining us. We wanted to walk through what we're thinking as we're trying to wrap up our Easter Sunday. It was a beautiful Easter Sunday across Indiana. In Indianapolis, we hit 76. That would make it the warmest Easter Sunday we have had in 8 years. It was back in 2017 the last time we hit that 76 mark. So hopefully you enjoyed the weather today. Depends on the lawn how muddy it was still left over from some of the rain that we've had earlier in the weekend. And for the past couple of weeks, we've had a very wet April, and it's going to be another wet night tonight across central Indiana as our next storm system comes on through. Throughout your Sunday afternoon and evening, we've had multiple tornado watches issued up and down the Mississippi River all the way south into the Ozarks and Ouachitas, and we've had some confirmed tornadoes. But here's the thing. We think this line that is approaching Indiana should be weakening. We think it starts to arrive after midnight tonight, but we think overall this line should be weakening once it does start to cross the state line. Couple different reasons why. As the storm system pushes off to the north and east, the heart of it, there's the low pressure. As it swings to the northern Great Lakes, the whole storm system kind of gets stretched out. In fact, if you kind of just watch over the loop, notice how it starts smaller and it keeps expanding and expanding. And at some point, it kind of expands too much that you kind of stretch out the energy a little bit too much as well. So that's number one. That helps us out, kind of reduces the threat for us a little bit. But then also, we've got some nice southerly winds here coming right towards Indiana. You can see some of the higher clouds that we've had on and off throughout the day. It wasn't completely blue sky, but we'll take it. But we had some of these, and we still have some of these south winds over us. And so as this storm complex moves into more of a south wind, you start to align all the winds. So from the bottom, from the ground, all the way to the top, you'll really get more of that south wind. And so what probably will happen is that the winds align. And when that takes place, a lot of times those updrafts and downdrafts, kind of get in the weeds here, but I think it's important. Updrafts and downdrafts, they all kind of get mixed together when the winds are aligned. When the winds are kind of going in different ways, it kind of separates stuff out and helps the thunderstorm actually be healthier. When they're aligned, they mix together, they'll waterlog, and that's kind of a death sentence for these thunderstorms as they eventually push off towards the east. So right now, the tornado watch, we've got that through parts of central Illinois. Now, could we get some of these storms that have maybe potentially a stray severe thunderstorm warning on it? Sure, that could be possible in western Indiana. But we do think this complex does weaken as it pushes off towards the east. We had a nice warm day today because of the warm front blasted on through. In fact, it came through a little bit faster than we originally thought. And so that helped us get nice and warm throughout the day. Beautiful day. The clouds cleared out a little bit faster in the morning. Now, before that main line really crosses the Mississippi, we have seen a couple little flare-ups across parts of Indiana, and that will be the case for the rest of this evening. There's about a 10% chance that you yourself get a quick downpour over the next few hours as we get our way to midnight. So this is kind of a preliminary thing. You can see some of those trying to pop up. We had some of those 6 to 7 o'clock just west of Bloomington there towards parts of Martin County and Greene County headed into Owen County. There could be a couple more. We'll watch them throughout the afternoon and evening. There's a very, very low risk that they really do anything other than just drop a little bit of rain, but they're small, they're super hit or miss. The main action is still off towards the west. Now, if we start to see kind of this bowing, which you do see on the east side and southeast side of Columbia, Missouri, if we get a big bow, that should charge the storm a little bit faster, but we do eventually think it should weaken. But we'll be watching it throughout the overnight hours, and we'll let you know if any watches or warnings are issued by the National Weather Service. We also have a special radar sequence up for you. On our Plus channel, you go to the weather section, go to radar, and you can see it. We've kind of got a few different loops on there for radar, a couple different places across Indiana, some severe alerts, different things like that. And so I think you'll find that handy throughout the evening hours. But we've had a couple flare-ups here and there. That'll be the case. But when we're just looking at the severe zones, notice how the Storm Prediction Center cuts it right off before it gets to Indiana. We do think there should be some weakening across the state of Illinois. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't get a severe warning outside this zone, but the concentration of them should be inside the greens and the yellows and then towards the oranges, where we've really had a lot of the severe weather throughout the day for your Easter Sunday. But this is some good news. Could it be slightly expanded east? We'll see. It really depends on how we see these thunderstorms develop and progress over the state of Illinois before they get to Indiana. So generally overnight tonight, we don't think too much severe weather. A lot of rain and some thunder will be likely, some good rumbles out there. But generally, outside of the window, the little pop-ups that we talked about, those are super hit or miss. We think that line starts coming in after midnight, and it could sweep across the state and be done by about 7, 8 o'clock. I think by 8 o'clock, a lot of this is out of here. And so we'll be watching that speed. It kind of, in these situations, these lines kind of pick up speed and then they slow down a bit. So it's just a rough estimation. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to rain and thunder where you live from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. This is just from state line to state line with the state of Indiana. So what we generally think is in western Indiana, it might be 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning that we're getting some of this rain and thunder. Once you get the heavy rain that's coming in, and we do think it's kind of breaking up just a little bit over time. So not everyone is going to get the biggest downpour, but the rain window for you will probably be 2, 3 hours or so. So 1, 2, 3 o'clock for western Indiana. For central Indiana, Noblesville to Carmel to Indianapolis to Greenwood, south to Bloomington, we'll probably go with 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, wrapping up by about 5:30 or so. And then in eastern Indiana, it might be more 5:30, 6, 7. A lot of this is done, though, by 8 o'clock. The main impacts, though, rain and lightning, that's probably going to be mostly it. So it might have a little bit more bark than bite on some of these thunder showers as they're coming on through. There could still be some gusty winds. That would be the threat we'd be watching out for. The hail and the tornado risks are super, super low. Here's the rain timeline throughout the overnight hours. Once again, this is kind of accounting all of central Indiana, so that's why you kind of see an extended look. But there after midnight, the rain chances go up and they start going back down by about 8 o'clock. And then I think the rest of the day, we have to leave this 10% chance. It could be a very spotty shower, but the main action will be before the morning rush hour, we think, there for your Monday morning. So let's play through Futures Track 13. Before the main line comes in, there could be a stray pop-up shower or two. Not probably a big deal. If anything starts kind of beefing up, we'll watch it, we'll track it, we'll go live if we need to, but that threat looks super low. There's a line of thunderstorms coming in, and you're going to notice over time, if you kind of keep an eye on it, it'll start to shrivel up a little bit because everything's being stretched, remember? So you only have so much. You're going to stretch it out. And you'll probably notice the southern end being a little bit wider, just because we've got a little bit more heat and humidity the farther south you go. The northern end is probably going to be the end that weakens just a little bit faster. So when we're looking at rainfall totals, we may see just a little bit more of a trend to the south, maybe a quick 1/4 inch, maybe up to a 1/2 inch if you get one of the bigger downpours. So that's midnight. Right by about 2 o'clock, you see it really coming into western Indiana. There'll be some good heavy rain there for a little bit, and then some scattered showers for a while as the band fully pushes on through. This is 3, 4 o'clock. We sweep it across Indianapolis and Hamilton County, south to Johnson County, starting to get into Shelbyville and Columbus and Seymour, up and down 65 there, 3, 4 o'clock. And then we start getting into eastern Indiana. 4, 5 o'clock, we may not be getting really much rain in Richmond or Centerville or Jay County or all the way south to Connorsville and Brookville Lake till 5:36 or so. So we'll watch that. But then by 7 o'clock and really 8 o'clock, a lot of this is out of here. On the back side, it's going to get kind of breezy because the front accompanied that line of rain. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. It will be cooler than your Easter, but still not bad. I think we're headed well into the 60s. Some of us may even pop up a 70-degree mark. But with the winds out of the west up to 35 miles per hour, it just may feel cooler overall. It will feel cooler overall compared to your Easter Sunday, which at times there was a little bit of a breeze, but not like what we're probably going to get throughout your Monday. So now let's go ahead and talk about some rainfall totals. We'll push this line on through. Nothing crazy, but maybe another 1/10 or 2 or 3/10 of an inch of rain on the way. I think 1/4 inch is probably a good mark for a lot of us. Some of us, of course, get a little bit more. Some of us will get a little bit less. Even on one side of a town to another, everyone's going to get something a little bit different. But quick dose of rain. And then tomorrow, the high temperatures will be technically cooler than the mid-70s that we had throughout your Easter Sunday, but still not bad. Just a lot windier. Here's a look at some of those wind speeds. We think they're peaking right about lunchtime, 1, 2, 3 o'clock. These are the wind gusts. So we're going to have gusts over 30 miles per hour at times. I won't be surprised if we pop up a 35 mile per hour gust or so across parts of central Indiana. So it's going to be a windy day. And there could be a very stray shower on the backside. As we get these kind of on and off clouds throughout the day, a couple of them may be just enough thicker that you get a stray raindrop out of it. So that's why we put this tiny little raindrop on there. A little bit of a wind, but a good mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. The bulk of the rain is before sunrise. We were just talking about that throughout the overnight hours there early Monday morning. Then a few days of some quieter weather. by Thursday, I think we've got a chance to maybe hit 80 degrees. So we're turning things around real quick. Next storm system to watch will be Friday. There could be some severe storms right now. Scattered rain and rumbles of thunder on the way, and then we'll kind of cool down for the weekend. But it looks like right now the weekend should be trending a bit drier. If we can try to get all our rain chances more on Thursday, that'll be good. This is for central Indiana. There's a chance that when the clouds are increasing on Thursday, notice how we go from sun and clouds to clouds and sun, kind of a way to just kind of delineate between the two, maybe a few more clouds Thursday. There could be a very spotty shower, about a 20% chance, but most of the day is dry, so kind of left with the cloud and the sun out there instead of a little raindrop. But then Friday will be your day to watch out for some scattered rain and rumbles. In the meantime, we are tracking some rain and thunder overnight tonight. We're going to have updates on WTHR Plus live as needed as the line approaches, but we could hear some rumbles of thunder throughout the overnight hours. Could wake up a couple of us across central Indiana, but hopefully it's not too big of a deal for us. We'll just be watching some garden variety thunderstorms. Those are weaker ones across the state. Make sure you keep it here, keep it local. As always, we will keep you advised.